It's not every day that you hear about a company selling off its historic assets to raise money for a project. But that's exactly what happened with McLaren. It sold off its timeless Formula One racing cars to raise money for the Artura project. And that shines light on how important the Artura is for the brand from a global perspective. The Artura is finally in India and will tell you not only about the product, but also what it means from the business perspective.
After offering models like the 765 LT Spider and the GT, McLaren Automotive launched the Artura in India at an ex-showroom price of 51 million rupees. Artura brings along numerous firsts for the brand. It is the first McLaren car to be powered by a V6 engine, and it is their first ever series production plug-in hybrid supercar. That also happens to be its most fuel-efficient model to date. It is capable of achieving north of 21 kilometers per litre. Let it sink in for a minute. A supercar that's as frugal as or even better than so many small, efficient, affordable family cars. It's mind-blowing. Designed and built from the ground up in almost a decade, the Artura is built on an all-new McLaren carbon lightweight architecture. As a result, it tips the scales at just 1,498 kilograms. Power comes from a new Ricardo-sourced 3.0-litre twin-turbo M630 V6 engine with assistance from a 94 brake horsepower electric motor. Combined, the hybrid powertrain sends 671 brake horsepower and 720 Newton-meters of torque only to the rear wheels, with 577 brake horsepower and 585 Newton-meters coming from the V6 engine alone. The powertrain also benefits from an all-new 8-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox, which integrates McLaren's first-ever electronic differential. Thanks to these figures, the Artura can crack the 0 to 100 kilometers an hour run in just 3 seconds, which is only 0.2 of a second slower than the $1 million plus P1 hypercar. The 0 to 200 kilometers an hour sprint is done in 8.3 seconds, and the top speed is electronically limited to 330 kilometers an hour. Being a plug-in hybrid, the Artura comes with a 7.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which offers an electric-only driving range of 30 kilometers. The EV range can be consumed while driving at speeds of up to 130 kilometers an hour. On the sidelines of the Artura launch, we sat down for a quick chat with Paul Harris, Regional Director, Asia Pacific and China, McLaren Automotive, to understand the brand's future plans for the Indian market and what compelled McLaren to come here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a market of opportunity. That's why we came here last year and we established the business in Mumbai. I mean, clearly we see all the indicators heading in the right direction. Wealthy, number of sports cars on the road, development of infrastructure, even the potential for some racing tracks up and coming. So for us, it's very, very important because of the critical mass of India. I mean, it's a huge population. I know that many of them love motorsport and it's perfectly suited to McLaren. I think, you know, at the end of the day, there's a wealthy, discerning people who have an understanding of cars and they love sports cars and they love cars that are highly engaging to drive, perfect for McLaren. And I think that, you know, in that, what we see in terms of development, we see people having multi-car garages, and they may have a sedan, they may have an SUV, they may have an MPV type vehicle, and they also have a sports car, one or two. So for us, it's a perfect place to be because that's the type of customer that we're really aiming at. I would expect it to grow. One of the main reasons that APAC, including China, is slightly less than other markets around the world is partly because of a partial restriction in terms of cars we're able to bring into China. So that's one of the reasons why. But I think every indication would indicate that, you know, we're going for a balanced position where I would think that APAC would be 25 to 30% of the global opportunity. What would I say about it? I mean, it's a jewel in the crown, as I describe it. So, you know, at the end of the day, we don't really measure it particularly on sort of like individual markets at that level. It's less important to us than maybe others. I think that what is important here is we've got our highly discerning customer base who are very much understand McLaren and are very, very engaged in terms of taking a car and making it very individual to themselves. And therefore their average spend is very high despite duty locally as well. So we see, you know, good trends in terms of high interest, high order bank relative to the scale of the market, a good market share here, and we see high spend by the individual, high engagement in terms of what they want to see in their McLaren.